Moreau.
Detective, we have an incident. The Minister of Commerce, Albert Fournier, was found hanged in his study. His family claims it wasn't suicide.
I'll be there.
Paris, 1885. Midnight. The Fournier estate stands in eerie silence. Inside, a tragedy unfolds. Albert Fournier, a respected minister, was found dead, hanging from a silk rope in his locked study. His family swears he was murdered, that a dark force took hold of him. A suicide note was left behind, but his sister insists Albert would never write such a thing. The door was locked from the inside, the windows bolted shut. No sign of forced entry. The only key lay in Albert's pocket. The servants swear they heard no commotion. Impossible. Yet, here he hangs. A single sheet of paper rests on his desk, ink still fresh. The suicide note reads, "The weight of my sins is too great to bear. Forgive me." His wife, Geneviève Fournier, clutches the note in trembling hands. Her voice is hoarse with grief.
This is not his handwriting. Someone forced him, someone manipulated him.
Moreau studies the note, then the body. The knot is unusually tight. Too tight for a man to have tied on himself before losing consciousness. The rug beneath the body is undisturbed. No sign of a struggle. Moreau's sharp eyes narrow as he notices an indentation on the floor beneath the desk, as if a chair or small stool had been moved hastily.
Lock the doors. No one leaves.
The suspects exchanged nervous glances. The shadows stretch long. Someone among them may well be lying. Moreau begins his questioning. First, Geneviève Fournier. Her grief is real, but her fear is stronger.
Madame Fournier, you claim your husband was under a spell. What do you mean?
He changed in the last week, distant, distracted, as if something, someone, was controlling him. And that note, he never wrote it.
A widow's desperation or something more? Moreau files her words away. Next, Lupin Fournier, the minister's son. His fists are clenched. His eyes dart to the fireplace, to the dying embers of a burned letter.
Lupin, where were you when your father died?
In my chambers, asleep.
A simple answer, but a telling hesitation. Next, Adèle Fournier, the minister's sister. She dabs her eyes, voice barely above a whisper.
Albert had many enemies, rivals. The note, perhaps it was planted to cover up a murder.
A valid theory. But one question lingers. Who had access to the locked study? Then the butler, Pierre. His hands tremble as he speaks.
Monsieur Fournier dined alone that night. He was unsettled. I knocked at the study door later, but he did not answer.
Did you ever enter the study after your master?
No, sir, not once.
A lie. Moreau can sense it. But why? To protect himself or someone else? Moreau's eyes narrow as he surveys the room. Everyone seems to be hiding something, but he can't yet pinpoint what it is. He decides to interrogate them separately, one by one. Moreau leads Pierre into a small, dimly lit room, the flickering candlelight casting long shadows on the walls. The butler sits nervously, his hands trembling.
Pierre, I know you're lying. What are you hiding?
Pierre opens his mouth and closes it again, staring down at his lap. They sit in silence for a long while before Pierre finally looks up, tears filling his eyes.
I heard the muffled arguments in the study that night. Monsieur Fournier was shouting about changing his will. He sounded angry, desperate. I didn't want to intrude, so I left. But when I returned later, I found him dead.
And the note? Did you see it?
Yes, I took it from his pocket. It said, "Cannot let my mistake ruin them both. Thomas." I didn't know what it meant, but I thought it might be important.
Why didn't you tell anyone?
I was scared. I didn't want to get involved, but I swear, I didn't kill him.
Moreau studies Pierre's face. The butler's fear seems genuine, but his story raises more questions than answers. Who is Thomas, and what mistake is Albert referring to? Geneviève sits silently in the room, her hands clasped tightly in her lap.
Madame Fournier, who is Thomas?
Geneviève pales.
I don't know what you're talking about.
A note was found in your husband's pocket. It mentions a mistake and someone named Thomas. Who is he?
Thomas is Albert's illegitimate son. He was going to change his will to include him. I couldn't let that happen. It was me. I killed him.
Moreau's eyes narrow. Geneviève's confession seems too sudden, too convenient. He senses she's hiding something or someone. Moreau decides to revisit the crime scene before resuming the interrogation. He examines the suicide note more closely under the light of a lantern. The ink glistens faintly, a peculiar shade of blue-black.
This ink. It's not ordinary.
Moreau recalls a detail from earlier. Lupin works as a document archivist for the government, specializing in rare inks and preservation techniques. This particular ink is a special blend, difficult to obtain, nearly impossible to wipe off, and used only in high-security documents. Lupin leans against the wall, his arms crossed defiantly. A young man's eyes dart around the room, avoiding Moreau's piercing gaze.
Your mother just confessed to killing your father, but I don't believe her. I think she's covering for someone she deeply cares for.
That's absurd. My mother wouldn't do such a thing, and neither would any of us.
Then explain this. The suicide note was written with a special ink, one only you have access to. How do you explain that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyone could have stolen it.
And the argument Pierre overheard? Your father was shouting about changing his will. You stood to lose everything if he included Thomas.
You have no proof. You're grasping at straws.
The ink is proof enough. It's unique to your work. You wrote the note, didn't you? You staged the suicide to cover your tracks.
You can't prove anything.
Your mother confessed to protect you, but I know the truth. You were in the study that night. You argued with your father, and when he turned on you, you killed him.
I didn't mean to. He was going to ruin us, ruin me. He was going to give everything to that bastard Thomas. I just wanted him to stop.
Lupin collapses into a chair, his face buried in his hands. The door creaks open, and Geneviève steps into the room, her face pale and drawn. Her eyes are red from crying, and her hands tremble as she clutches the edges of her shawl. Moreau lets out a long sigh.
A mother's love can be the deadliest motive of all.
And so, as the first light of dawn breaks over Paris, justice is served.